My entire class thought humiliating me was their daily entertainment. Banana jokes, milk cartons, and Jungle Boy slurs. But here's the thing about being everyone's punching bag. One day you stop dodging and start swinging. And trust me, when I hit back, they didn't see it coming. You ever have one of those days where you just know the universe hates your guts? Yeah, that was me. My name's Derek, I'm 15, and apparently I was born to be the school's walking punchline. This was my life in a nutshell. The only black kid in a school full of rich, vanilla-flavored snobs who probably thought seasoning was a myth. It was history class, and we were doing presentations. You know, the kind where everyone pretends to listen while secretly planning their TikToks or zoning out so hard they might as well be meditating. My turn was last, which honestly felt like a setup. Save the best for last, my ass. It was more like, let's all be dead inside by the time Derek's up. Anyway, I'm standing there, trying to remember my opening line, when she decides to open her mouth. You know the type. Blonde hair, overly expensive lip gloss, and a personality that could kill small plants. Christina, the self-appointed queen of our class, twirls a lock of hair around her finger and says, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Oh my God, is that an accent? Did you pick that up from your grandma's plantation?" What the actual fuck? The whole class erupts in laughter, like she just dropped the funniest joke since the dawn of time. I froze. My brain was like, bro, do we fight, flee, or die right here? Before I could even think of a comeback, one of her lackeys in the back, Jason, a walking Abercrombie ad with the IQ of a toaster, lobs a banana peel toward my desk. Yo, Derek, I think you dropped your lunch. The laughter hit a new level. People were crying, slapping their desks, like this was some kind of stand-up show. And there I was, standing in the front of the room, my cheeks burning hotter than Satan's sauna. The teacher, Mr. Hall, just stood there looking like he couldn't decide whether to intervene or check his watch to see if he could go home yet. Spoiler alert, he did jack shit. Derek, you gonna start or what? He finally said, like my silence was somehow the real issue here. My throat was so dry I could have choked on air. I can't. You can't? He raised an eyebrow like I just told him I didn't know what 2 plus 2 was. All right then, who's next? And just like that, I was done. The moment was over, but the humiliation? Oh, that shit was just getting started. As I walked back to my seat, Christina whispered, "Don't worry, Derek. You're still cute for a monkey." I didn't even look at her. I just sat down and stared at my desk like maybe if I stared hard enough I could disappear. Spoiler? It didn't work. You'd think the humiliation would stop after class, right? Wrong. Turns out high school thrives on misery, and I was the day's main attraction. I barely made it to the bathroom before Jason and his idiot squad barged in. "Yo, Derek, you hiding, bro?" Jason shouted, like I'd invited him to a damn party. Then came the sound of something hitting the floor outside my stall. A banana. Real subtle, guys. "Come on, monkey boy, don't be shy," he added, while his crew banged on the stall door like they were auditioning for a horror movie. I stayed quiet, gripping the toilet seat and hoping they'd leave. Eventually, they got bored or hungry and left, laughing their asses off. But when I stepped out, the bathroom was trashed. Wads of wet toilet paper everywhere, and someone had written Derek's Jungle on the mirror in soap. Classy. Of course, that's when Mr. Hall walked in. He looked at the mess, then at me, and said, "Derek, you need to take responsibility for your actions." Seriously? I wanted to scream, "It wasn't me, asshole." But instead I just muttered, "Yes, sir," because fighting him would have been pointless. By the time I got back to class, Christina threw me a smug look and whispered something to her friends. More giggles, more whispers. But I kept my head down, pretending I didn't hear it. Inside, though, I was done. They thought I was weak. Fine, let them think that, for now. When I got home, I barely stepped through the door before Mom's radar went off. She was stirring a pot in the kitchen, but her eyes shot straight to me like she already knew. "What happened?" she asked, not even bothering with small talk. "Nothing," I mumbled, dropping my bag on the floor and slouching into a chair. She raised an eyebrow. "Derek, don't play me. Spill." So, I told her. About Christina, the banana, Jason's bathroom ambush, and Mr. Hall's complete failure as a human being. By the time I finished, Mom looked like she was deciding between hugging me or burning down the school. "Listen to me," she said, her voice low and sharp. "You are not weak, you are not small, and you are definitely not less than any of those kids. Mom, it's not that simple." "Yes, it is," she snapped. "They think they're better than you. Let them, because one day you'll prove them wrong and they'll choke on their own lies." "Wow, okay," I said, half laughing despite myself. "Didn't know we were going full-action movie speech." "Damn right we are," she said, grabbing her spoon like a sword. "Now wash up, dinner's almost ready." And that was it. One speech, and I actually felt like maybe I wasn't as defeated as I thought. Moms, man. They're basically magic. All right. So after Mom's Oscar-worthy pep talk, I decided it was time to stop sulking and actually do something. No more hiding in bathroom stalls or letting Jason and his band of idiots live rent-free in my head. If they wanted to mess with me, fine. But I wasn't going to make it easy for them anymore. That's when I saw the sign in the hallway. Join the debate club. I don't know what possessed me. Maybe it was Mom's words still echoing in my brain. But I figured what better way to shut people up than by learning how to destroy them with words. So I signed up. The first meeting was intense. Picture this. A room full of wannabe politicians arguing over whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Spoiler, it doesn't. And then there was Christina, sitting front and center like she owned the place. Of course, she spotted me the second I walked in. "Oh, look who decided to join us," she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "You sure you can handle it, Derek? I mean, words are hard." I smiled. Not because I liked her, but because I already had a comeback locked and loaded. "Well, Christina, considering you've been using the same 3 insults since kindergarten, I think I'll manage." The room went dead silent for a second, and then someone actually snorted. Christina's face turned the color of the cheap blush, but she didn't say anything else. Victory. The rest of the meeting was surprisingly fun. Turns out I was pretty good at debating. Sure, I had no idea what half the topics were about, but I had enough sarcasm and wit to fake it. And for the first time in forever, I felt like I had a weapon. Not fists, not anger, just my brain and a sharp tongue. Walking out of that room, I realized something. This was only the beginning. If they wanted a fight, I was ready. So here's the thing about standing up for yourself. It doesn't make people back off. If anything, it just makes them double down. And guess who couldn't handle me actually having a backbone? That's right. Jason and his peanut gallery of gym bro rejects. It started small, like the universe just wanted to annoy me. My locker got accidentally bumped open, spilling my books everywhere. "Oh, my bad, Derek," Jason smirked, standing there with all the sincerity of a used car salesman. "Didn't see you there." "Sure, dude, because I'm totally invisible now." Then it escalated. One day after gym class, I found my sneakers missing. In their place? A pair of beat-up flip-flops, one size too small, with Banana Boy written on the straps in Sharpie. The laughs echoing from the locker room were enough to make my blood boil, but I shoved the rage down and wore the damn flip-flops home. I wasn't giving them the satisfaction. But the final straw? The incident in the cafeteria. Picture this. I'm minding my own business, trying to choke down the school's idea of spaghetti, when Jason struts over holding a carton of chocolate milk like it's a goddamn trophy. "Yo, Derek," he calls out, loud enough for the entire room to hear. "Catch!" And then, before I can even process what's happening, the milk is airborne, arcing straight toward me. Instinct kicked in. I ducked, and the carton missed me, barely. Unfortunately, it didn't miss Christina, who got a face full of chocolate milk and let out a shriek that could have shattered glass. The entire cafeteria erupted into chaos, with Christina screaming, Jason laughing like an idiot, and me standing there, milk-free but officially done with their bullshit. "Nice aim, Jason," I said, loud enough to cut through the noise. "Maybe next time try using your brain first." "Oh, wait, that's assuming you have one." The laughter that followed wasn't for Jason this time, and the look on his face? Priceless. But I knew this wasn't over, not by a long shot. By now, I'd had enough of Jason and his circus act. If they wanted a show, I was going to give them the performance of a lifetime. No bananas required. The opportunity came in the form of the school science fair. Yeah, I know, science fair doesn't exactly scream revenge, but stay with me. See, the theme was social issues, and I thought, what's more socially relevant than proving that Jason and his crew are products of a broken system? Enter my project, the psychological impact of systemic racism on academic performance. Catchy, right? Basically, I was about to drag their privilege under a microscope and make it look ugly. My partner? Kevin. My one and only ride or die in this hellhole of a school. "Bro, you sure about this?" he asked, staring at my outline like it was a death warrant. "You're basically calling out half the school, including their parents." "That's the point," I said, grinning like a maniac. "If I'm going down, I'm taking them with me. We spent weeks on this thing. Late nights in my garage with stacks of articles, spreadsheets, and more coffee than a 15-year-old should legally consume. Kevin handled the data because, let's face it, numbers and I aren't friends. I focused on the presentation, making it sharp, brutal, and impossible to ignore. "Dude, this is savage," Kevin said one night, flipping through my slides. "Like you're not even trying to soften the blow." "Why would I?" I shot back. "They've been playing dirty since day one. Time to return the favor." The cherry on top? I dug up stats on how schools like ours treat minority students. Suspension rates, funding disparities, the whole 9 yards. And you better believe I made it personal. A few strategically placed anecdotes about, I don't know, my own experience, and bam. This wasn't just a project anymore. It was a weapon. By the time the fair rolled around, I was ready. Jason and Christina were working on some lame Save the Oceans thing. Which cool, but maybe they should have started by saving their personalities. Meanwhile, my project stood front and center. Bold letters, screaming the title like a warning sign. "This is either gonna be epic," Kevin muttered as we set up, "or we're both getting expelled." "Epic," I said confidently, adjusting the poster board. "Expelled comes later." The day of the science fair felt like stepping onto a battlefield. The cafeteria had been turned into a maze of projects: volcanoes, solar systems, and some sad poster boards about recycling. Cute. Meanwhile, Kevin and I rolled in with our setup like we were planning to overthrow the damn school. Jason and Christina were across the room, their Save the Oceans display dripping with glitter and mediocrity. Jason shot me his signature smirk. You know, the one that screams I peaked in middle school. I just smiled back, because today wasn't about him. It was about proving everyone wrong. Judges started making the rounds, and I swear I could feel the tension in the air. When they got to us, Kevin gave them the rundown on the data. Cool as a cucumber. Me? I saved my fire for the quanda. "So Derek," one judge began, an older woman with glasses that screamed, "Don't test me." "What inspired this project?" I leaned in, giving her my best "I'm about to make history" look. "Well, ma'am," I said, voice dripping with fake politeness, "I live it, every day. This project isn't just data. It's my life. Every stat here, that's not just numbers. It's proof that systems like this school make people like me jump through hoops just to be seen as equal." The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop, or, Jason's ego deflating in the corner. Another judge chimed in, clearly impressed. "And what do you hope to achieve with this?" "Change," I said, shrugging like it was obvious. "Or at least making people uncomfortable enough to think about it, because if this makes you squirm, imagine living it." Mick, drop. But the real fireworks came when the winners were announced. Jason and Christina snagged 3rd place, and you'd think they just won an Oscar with how much they celebrated. 2nd place went to some kid with a robot. Cool, whatever. And then, 1st place? Derek and Kevin for their project on systemic racism. The crowd clapped, but it wasn't just applause. It was acknowledgement. Jason looked like he'd swallowed a lemon, and Christina wouldn't even make eye contact. Me? I stood tall, holding that blue ribbon like it was a goddamn trophy. In that moment, I knew this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. The aftermath of the science fair hit the school like a nuclear bomb. My project was all that anyone could talk about. Not just because I won, but because it called out everyone. From the students, to the teachers, to the system itself. Suddenly, people were looking at me differently. Not like Derek, the kid we can laugh at, but like Derek, the kid who just flipped the script. Jason? Oh, he tried to play it cool, like losing to me didn't bother him. But I caught him in the hallway muttering something about rigged judging to his friends. Classic Jason, all bark, no bite. Christina, meanwhile, avoided me like I was carrying the plague. Couldn't handle the spotlight when it wasn't flattering, huh? Even Mr. Hall started acting weird. He pulled me aside after class one day, stammering about how he was so proud of my growth and always knew I had potential. Sure, dude. Where was that energy when Jason was turning the bathroom into a circus? But the best part? My project didn't just end at the science fair. Word got out. Parents, local media, even the school board got wind of it. Suddenly there were discussions about equity and funding and all that good stuff. They were just words, sure, but knowing I'd forced the conversation, that felt like a win. As for me, I wasn't done. Winning the fair was great, but it wasn't about the ribbon. It was about proving to everyone, and to myself, that I was more than their punchline. They wanted to make me small. Instead, I showed them that I couldn't be ignored. And the look on Jason's face every time I walk by him in the hall, that's just a bonus.